With their red tunics and bearskin caps, the Grenadier Guards are the most famous soldiers in the world.
You can't see anything like this anywhere in the world except UK.
Changing the guard at Buckingham Palace, they constantly strive for ceremonial perfection.
Left turn, get out!
Oh, God, I don't believe it.
But they are also frontline soldiers in the world's most dangerous war zones. For the first time, we go behind the scenes at the royal palaces to show how the pride of guarding the Queen and the sacrifice of war combine to create a unique soldier, the Grenadier Guard. The British Grenadiers have been guarding the monarch for the last 350 years. In their famous bearskin caps, they are seen by many as a symbol of the nation itself. 4 centuries on, and the changing of the guard ceremony outside London's royal palaces is more popular today than it has ever been. In charge of keeping this Grenadier tradition alive is Major Torald Youngman Sullivan.
This is to do with 350 years of our history and our tradition. We have always been closely aligned to the royal family and the monarch. We've always guarded and protected the monarch and the royal family. Tourists come specifically to see Changing the Guard, which is world famous, to see the Grenadier Guards, who are world famous, and to see that relationship visibly illustrated between the army and the monarchy.
Living up to the highest standards of Grenadier traditions is all about attention to the minutest detail.
Make sure your cup drains fitted correctly. They're not on back to front. Make sure your buff belts are fitted correctly as well.
Hordes of tourists gather to watch the famous spectacle unfold.
Guard, move right, St James's Palace touchment on the Queen's Guard, sir!
And to see the legendary band of the Grenadier Guards, who are receiving a final pep talk.
The figure of the visitors to outside Buckingham Palace is somewhere in the region of 20 million people a year. They're coming to see you guys doing your thing. That is fabric of the nation stuff. That makes us all feel British and it makes us all feel special. It's vital what you do. So many thanks.
Sorry guys, I'm just too choked to carry on. Yeah.
Fall in! The officers!
This is the public face of the Grenadier Guards.
Pick! March!
In private, the lifestyle that comes with being a Grenadier officer has changed little in the regiment's 350-year history. At St James's Palace, Torald has invited friends and family to join him for dinner in the officers' mess.
It's really nice when you see guests of yours who come up and you see how much they appreciate what's here, then actually it forces you to think that we're incredibly privileged and lucky to be living and dining within these surroundings.
After serving 11 years as a Grenadier with postings in Northern Ireland, Kosovo and Iraq, Torald's days of fighting are over. He's leaving the army in 3 months' time.
I've loved my time that I've been in the army. It's made me who I am today, for better or worse. I was saying within the Grenadiers, once a Grenadier, always a Grenadier, and I think that speaks volumes. I don't think you ever really leave the regiment.
This may be his last posting, but Torald is not going to let the impeccable Grenadier standards slip.
I want to hand over a company that is professional, robust, fit, motivated, and without many skeletons or without any skeletons in the closet. If I can achieve that, then I'll be very happy.
Torald has his work cut out. Preparations for the summer ceremonial season are well underway. All winter, the Guards have been on parade in their grey greatcoat uniforms. But that is about to change. For the summer season, the grey will be replaced. Now the Guards, officers and the band of the Grenadiers are issued the famous red tunic. But a crisis is looming. The Ministry of Defence has decided to change the colour of the tunic ever so slightly to a more scarlet shade of red. Company Sergeant Major Steve Munro has his own thoughts on the decision.
So David Blunkett came down and looked at some colour samples, chose one, and as a consequence, everyone's having to change to the new colour.
Like most problems, it's up to Torald
Company Commander.
to sort it out.
Well, that's about as much use as tits on a fish, isn't it? This is an old-style tunic. This is the new-style tunic. And what we're aiming for is the whole company in these new-style tunics. As you can see, when you get old and new on parade at the same time, it sticks out the colour difference. So what we're aiming for is this, but what we've got at the moment is a mix and match between the two.
It may be just the smallest of colour changes, but for Torald, it matters enormously.
Well, let's just get people into a tunic, so we've got odds to mount guard.
Even if it's a mixer?
Even if it's a mix, because we can't not mount a guard.
Reluctantly, Torald will allow his company to wear different coloured tunics while on guard. But by trooping the colour in June, all grenadiers will have to be individually fitted with the new scarlet tunic. The man responsible for ensuring that this happens in time is Quartermaster Sergeant Jim Hawkins. Jim has come to Caskets, tailors for the Royal Household Division, to collect another batch of completed tunics. Each uniform is individually tailored and has to be of the highest quality of workmanship.
Everything is made to an MOD specification. These particular patterns haven't changed much for at least 4 decades. Individual garments can take up to 6 weeks to produce from start to finish.
Purely from my regiment alone, we're looking at about 150 garments. You can now see how pushed and how hectic these factories are going to be with the period from now up until trooping the colour.
A tunic costs around £2,000. The cuffs and collars are made with real gold.
We purchase it from a wholesaler as bullion. This is part of the cuff for an officer's uniform, unfinished at the moment, but you can see from the back of them the actual handwork on the gold embroidery from the stitching. It takes several weeks to produce them, so they are worth several hundreds of pounds.
With the tunics that have already been delivered, the issue is not just the new colour.
The different colour.
There's a problem also with the fit.
This is your new tunic.
Discuss, please.
Please.
Why are you wearing body armour under your tunic?
Tibbers, you put weight on?
Sure.
Are you pregnant?
Have you eaten a small horse?
I don't want to die, Jerry.
You need to get in the gym, don't you?
Did it shrink since being issued that tunic?
It's not.
Tippers, you have become a buffet slayer, haven't you? Look at you. Oh, dear.
The struggle to prepare 150 new red tunics is in stark contrast to the challenge facing the rest of the regiment.
Hey, stand by!
The Grenadiers have recently returned from Iraq. Now 500 of them are just months away from deploying to Afghanistan at the height of the conflict. Already over 50 British soldiers have lost their lives there, with hundreds seriously injured. The commander of the Grenadiers, Colonel Carew Hatherley, knows that his men will be fighting enemy forces every day.
From day one, we all know that this is going to be a crunchy operational tour. Someone, somewhere in the battle group will be in contact pretty much every day until the day we leave theatre and we come back again. This is our time as a battle group, and particularly as a Grenadier battle group, to excel. So, Major, thank you.
The demands of fighting the Taliban are so great that Carew has drafted in many of the most experienced soldiers from the regiment's ceremonial arm in London. The Royal Guards have been reduced from 130 to just 90 soldiers. Replacements arrived 3 weeks ago, fresh out of only basic training.
Guards red, quick, march! No, no.
And they didn't inspire confidence.
Left turn. Get out! Get out! Embarrassing me, get out!
girl.
Torald is going to have to work hard to maintain the impeccable standards of the Grenadier Guards in London. But the show must go on. In London, at St James's Palace, the British Grenadiers guard the royal family. They stand at their posts in 2-hour blocks, ready to react to any threat to the palace. Plenty of time for tourists to get their holiday snaps.
You may not sit down, lie down, sleep, smoke, eat or drink during your tour of duty. Right, Prince Charles is due out at 13:10. He'll be in a Range Rover, 4 wheels. If you see him, make sure you present arms and make sure he drills on the board, because if I had to come back out here, you're going to get aggoed. What's your mission?
While on duty, guardsmen stay at St James's. But far from living in palatial splendour, they have just basic army accommodation.
Hey, Chris.
Upstairs is a different story. Here, Commanding Officer Major Torald Youngman Sullivan has his quarters. He is surrounded by Grenadier treasures, including their flag, the regimental colour, and a First World War toilet door.
Now, this isn't supposed to be open till after 8 o'clock at night, but I'm sure we can make an exception for today. These pictures were cut out by officers from days gone by. And the reason that it can't come out until after 8 o'clock is 8 o'clock is when the ladies are asked to leave, because there are no ladies allowed in the officers' mess after 8 o'clock. And because there are some naked women, it's viewed as pornographic. It has been known on occasion that that you'd open it and show it to female guests before 8 o'clock, which is scandalous, I know, but I think we can stretch to it in this modern day and age.
One person who most certainly would not approve is Queen Victoria. She watches over the officers as they guard the palace.
When Prince Albert died, Queen Victoria ordered that all the paintings of her dresses be painted black in mourning, and this is one of only a handful in existence where the dress hasn't been painted. What's also of note is that you can see her hand clasping a necklace, and that necklace is also just here. And this is so rare that when the ensign of the guard goes to sleep at night, he takes the colours up to his room and this necklace and sleeps with those in his room to guard them and look after them.
Outside the palace, 17-year-old Stephen Cooper stands guard. He has been a grenadier for just 1 month, but already he thinks he has done it all.
I've done everywhere. I've done the Tower, done Buckingham Palace, I've done St James's Palace, and I've done Windsor as well. To be honest with you, standing outside isn't really my thing, but got to do it. You think you've been there for hours, and you've only been there for like 5 minutes. Just stare at a point and just trying to switch off. Not like completely, so if someone walks past you won't know. Just try not to think about it too much.
But standing guard in a sentry box is the easy bit.
Quick, march! No! No!
Things are about to get a whole lot harder. Today, Company Sergeant Major Steve Munro is giving his men a lesson in the realities of performing public duties.
I guarantee you now, if you're on the far side from where the officer is giving the word of command, you're not going to hear him, because you'll have Jap tourists dancing behind you, all right, and French people hanging off your earlobes. We're going to use the space between the company office and the top to act as the mall. The Queen will leave, go in that way, and then once she's done a bits and bobs, I haven't got the Queen today, by the way, it's just a piece of paper, then from that end, we'll have the procession going through.
Steve is teaching street lining for royal processions. With his trusty pace stick, he's making sure that his men know their positions, exactly 9 paces apart.
Again, just a nod to each other, stand at ease, OK?
The Sergeant Major is a stickler for precision.
Guardsman Jones, ugliest man in NATO, sir.
You're right, Jones, just bring that foot forward. Turn it in. Turn it in, so it's touching my boot. That's the sausage.
The guards know how and where to stand. All they need to do now is march into place 9 paces apart. At least, that's the theory.
Get them back, get them back, get back. As soon as you're back now, look at your oppo, confirm how many paces you're going to do, which pace you're going to halt on. OK.
One grenadier who knows the importance of precision is Lieutenant Colonel Conway Seymour.
In a couple of weeks' time, the Queen will see them on the state visit of the President of Ghana. And what is more, she has a very sharp eye, and any errors that might creep in will be spotted by her first and foremost.
It's not difficult. Stand there, Baz. You just march out to keep the pace going at 30-inch marching pace. OK, let's just do it. It's like Chinese Parliament.
Quick, march!
It'll work on the day. I hope.
No! Right.
Conway Seymour is the highest-ranked grenadier officer at Wellington Barracks. Among his many roles as regimental adjutant, he is the first port of call for the royal household. As a grenadier officer since 1961, he believes passionately that the regiment must continue to maintain its high standards.
The discipline that is necessary in an effective fighting force is, in fact, learned very largely on the drill square. The unquestioning carrying out of orders comes automatically to someone who has been on the drill square and been drilled by the system that we operate.
No one knows the importance of drill more than Steve Munro.
This half company by this stage should be stood to attention. Number 1 half company, Chen!
The state visit will be a major test for his young and inexperienced guards. He doesn't want the grenadiers to be shown up.
Up, recover.
On the day, the Queen, the President of Ghana, and 650 soldiers will be taking part in the royal event. Nothing is left to chance.
One will run through, and if there's no dramas, can it?
At 4 o'clock in the morning, streets around Buckingham Palace have been closed so that Steve, his grenadiers, and over 100 horses from the household cavalry can run through the precise timings for the visit.
It is exactly 10 past, so I'm hoping that this is the Bentley now. But again, because it's night time, you can't even make the car out. And between me and them, there's going to be 1,000 tourists, so you really can start to struggle.
The Queen's car is the cue for the Grenadiers' first royal salute.
Not until the car reaches you, sir, yeah?
Royal salute! Present!
Minutes later, the guards have to perform a second royal salute as the state coach passes by.
So you're looking about now, sir?
Number 2 half company! Royal salute! Present! Out! Stand easy!
That is job done as far as it goes.
In the build-up to the state visit, things are running smoothly for the Grenadier Guards. But their band has had a few problems locating the national anthem of Ghana.
El Salvador, Ecuador. The Ghana national anthem doesn't seem to be here, which is quite strange because we usually have quite up-to-date archives of the national anthems. So sadly we'll have to go down another avenue and try and find another copy or arrangement.
In the nick of time, the band's new director of music, Barry Wassell, has obtained a copy of the anthem in the most unusual way.
A bit last minute in that nobody had this, so Mr. Mitchell had to go to Ghana and get some locals to sing it to him. He's written it down, and this is the result. Mezzo piano all the way, please, because of the horses.
These are nervous times for Barry. It's his first state visit in charge.
I haven't done it before, so it is fairly daunting, and I have to admit there will be a few butterflies.
To add to his anxiety, Barry is responsible for one of the trickiest elements of the entire event.
My job, once the Royal Salute has been given, is to conduct the two national anthems, and if all goes well, the playing of our national anthem will finish at the precise moment that the wheels of Her Majesty's coach stop turning.
It's the morning of the state visit. Thousands of tourists and onlookers stream towards the Mall and Buckingham Palace for the big event. Amongst them, hundreds of Ghanaians in party mood. Their president's visit commemorates the 50th anniversary of their country's independence. At Wellington Barracks, the Grenadier Guards are ready to step out for their role of street lining. Steve Munro has just a few minutes in which to get his men into perfect formation, either side of the Mall, 9 paces apart, awaiting the Queen and President Kufuor of Ghana.
I've seen a black soldier in there, always white, and it's brilliant to have him there as well. Thank you.
The band marches into the inner courtyard of Buckingham Palace to await the arrival of the royal party. On cue, at exactly 12:30, the state coach arrives on the Mall, flanked by the household cavalry. As the Ghanaian national anthem is played, the royal party enters the quadrangle inside Buckingham Palace at precisely 12:40. Nervous times for Director of Music, Barry Wassell. It's then up to Barry to start God Save the Queen. Barry hasn't done this before, but knows that the anthem is 36 seconds long. If he gets it right, the band will finish their final note at the precise moment that the wheels stop turning on the state carriage. Nice one, Barry. He's timed the two anthems to perfection. Although hidden from public view, it is the smallest of details and traditions that have evolved over time that mean the difference between success and failure for the Grenadiers.
That went very well from my point of view. It looked about right. I was pretty pleased with it for my first attempt. Probably won't be going to the Tower of London today.
For the Grenadier Guards, the first state occasion of the year has also gone without a hitch.
We didn't have any incidents, no one fell over. I think today the war on tourism took a turn, and I really do think we've got them on the back foot now.
You can't see anything like this anywhere in the world except UK.
Yeah, exactly. It was great. Best Beautiful. 5 seconds of my life. Best ever. It's like Christmas.
It's dawn at the London barracks of the Grenadier Guards. The state visit was a success, but Commanding Officer Major Torald Youngman Sullivan is not relaxing his grip on his troops. He has set strict fitness targets for his men.
Get a move in your body or you're gonna fail! 9:43. Come on, straight water! Get sprinting!
Guards that fail to meet Torald's standards of fitness and discipline are sent straight to his office.
Left turn.
This is a test that the whole army needs to pass. You guys didn't pass it. You need to be fit for your job. You're all on 3-month warning order. Company Major, march out, please.
Sir, guard left turn.
Torald's fitness regime will require more work, and he's keeping a close watch on standards of discipline.
Left turn.
Were you in bed?
Yes, sir.
Did you miss roll call?
Yes, sir.
In which case, I award you a fine of £50. And I suggest that you start pulling your socks up.
Torald and his right-hand man, Company Sergeant Major Steve Munro, face an uphill struggle to maintain the high standards of the regiment through one of its busiest periods of the year.
It goes in peaks and troughs in terms of drill and green training, a little bit more drill.
Yes! Go! Change, change, change.
Because of the experience level of the troops, well, basically there is none.
Quick, march, go!
It's imperative that every single person knows what's going on, and they're in a position, if need be, to prompt and direct what needs to be done.
Over the next couple of weeks, we'll be concentrating on the theme of drill, interspersed with a little bit of green training, looking at fitness.
That's 1 minute gone, 1 minute remaining.
We then switch at the beginning of May, our focus firmly onto rehearsals for the Queen's Birthday Parade.
With the Queen's Birthday Parade trooping the colour on the horizon, Torald and Steve are already working around the clock to ensure that the young guardsmen are able to deliver a brilliant performance. Trooping the colour will be seen by millions on television, not to mention their Colonel-in-Chief, the Queen. While the ceremonial soldiers finalise their preparations in London, 500 grenadiers are about to deploy to Afghanistan. The aim of their mission is to assist the Afghan National Army in defeating the Taliban. By stabilising the country, they hope to win over hearts and minds and reconstruct a nation ravaged by war. With lives at stake, the regiment is using every available resource to ensure that all grenadiers are fit and trained for the task ahead. They're practicing everything from flushing enemy out of houses to battlefield emergency first aid.
Cash has exposed his chest. Just in the air, there's a hole the size of a 50p piece.
And training using live ammunition. With less than a month to go, supplies have just arrived at the regimental stores in Aldershot.
So we've got everything from socks, underwear, body armour on your left-hand side, hats, helmet covers, respirator canisters, shorts, neck coolers, sunglasses, goggles, hydration packs. And then they're back out of the door and a goodbye.
The regiment may be bracing itself for its most dangerous mission in recent years, but not everyone is going. Outside the royal palaces, war or no war, grenadiers have to fulfill their ceremonial duties to the monarch. But guarding the Queen is wearing thin for the regiment's young recruits.
I don't think there's anyone here who would rather stay in our main company and do the drill side of things rather than go out to Afghanistan. I joined the army to do the green and warrior stuff, not to stand outside all day.
We obviously joined to go on tours, basically to shoot people, do all that sort of thing.
To only get out there with the boys, be with the boys, do the job, get the medal, come home, and that's it. You've been there, you've done it.
For Torald, who has the responsibility of maintaining the traditions and standards of the regiment in London, there is little sympathy for his men's dilemma.
One of the things that I say to the guys is, you join the Guards, you join the Grenadiers, and half of what we do is ceremonial and half of what we do is operational. And you can't have one without the other and be a Grenadier. It is part of our tradition, our heritage, and our tapestry. It's part of our makeup.
Also eager to leave his ceremonial post to join the Grenadiers going to Afghanistan is Lieutenant Jeremy Quarry. He has applied for a transfer, but is still stuck in London performing public duties. Tonight, he's inspecting Grenadier cadets.
Cadet Mitchell, sir.
Cadet Mitchell.
Yes, sir.
How old are you?
13, sir.
13. Being in London District and doing stuff like this is very different from, you know, the bread and butter of what the Army's about and what the Grenadier Guards are about. Going out on operations, being right at the front, you know, we're going to be in Helmand Province on the most intense operation that we've seen for quite a while.
Corporal Tut, sir.
Corporal Tut, come on, let's see that chest. I know it's in there somewhere. Push it out. There we go, excellent.
This is my 4th week, sir.
4th week?
Yes, sir.
God, brand new. You're a crow. Nice T-shirt. Yeah, it's important that we do the public duties, but what we do is fight. We're soldiers. That's what the Grenadiers do. And that's why I joined the Army, to command troops in combat. So hopefully I'll get my chance.
The Grenadiers are formidable soldiers. They have taken part in every major conflict since 1656. Their duties have changed little over the centuries. At St. James's Palace, old rituals and traditions continue to be observed and cherished.
You may not sit down, lie down, sleep, smoke, eat or drink during your tour of duty. Or make sure your drill's on the ball. Prince Charles having that dinner party, so salute.
Tonight, as with every night, the ensign of the Guards sleeps with the regimental colour and Victoria's pendant by his side. But the faces standing outside the royal palaces are forever changing as the regiment is faced with new challenges and wars to fight. Back at barracks, Lieutenant Jeremy Quarry receives the news that he's been hoping for.
Position was available at battalion, and I lobbied various people from commanding officer down to try and get myself in that spot, and I've been lucky enough to get it. So I will be heading out with the battalion to Afghanistan. Team commander, it's the best job in the Army, especially we're going straight to Sangin in Helmand Province, and that's what everyone's talking about at the moment.
Within 3 weeks, Jeremy will be fighting the Taliban. But in London, the show goes on. This summer, the Grenadier Band will escort guard changes, carry out numerous army functions, as well as high-profile royal engagements. Leading them through their heavy schedule is Bandmaster Kevin Bird.
Probably 10 to 20 times a year we're actually performing directly for Her Majesty the Queen. The investitures, garden parties, and the Queen obviously attends her own birthday parade in June.
Not only do the band members have to be brilliant musicians, they must be able to march like proper soldiers. And that means drill.
Well, it's a part of the job, I suppose, is a safe answer. The real soldiers, if you like, give us a lot of grief because we don't do it as often as they do, or perhaps not as hard as they do, but it's got to be done.
Anyone from outside the band that's given the opportunity to drill you around a square for a few days is going to absolutely take as much out of it as he possibly can and have as much fun as he possibly can. No one's going to argue back. So for him, he probably wakes up in the morning with a huge smile on his face thinking, great, I've got the band for the day.
Today, the lucky grenadier who will be putting the band through their paces is Jim Hawkins.
Cannot wait for this. Be aware, if you do not put the effort in, Nijmegen Company are going to give me 6 guardsmen with shark's eyes, and we can do it floodlit. The ball is in your court. Get it right first time, sack it, and then we're off the square. Everyone happy? Right! Turn!
This punishment, known as spring drills, was actually initiated by Queen Victoria. After observing some sloppy marching, she ordered that annual drills be carried out for the next 100 years.
Turn!
It continues today, long after the 100 years are up.
There. Changing step! Change
So I think they call this character building.
The band's foot drill should be every bit as good as the Guards, according to Jim.
What's the difference between holding a piccolo or an oboe to holding a rifle? So no quarter will be given because they're a tuba player.
When you've got a tuba, they compensate by leaning back. Trombone players are the same, they compensate. So when they're doing that, it's a balance thing.
So what you're saying is the band's got wig backs?
Yeah. All of them, I tell you.
Insert a spine.
While the band is learning to march like proper soldiers, across the country, grenadiers are training for war in Afghanistan. Stephen Cooper and the other young guardsmen have been sent to join the troops. The bad news for them is that they're playing the role of the Taliban.
It's a fancy dress party with rifles.
We're playing the enemy for the lads who we've gone through training with, who are going out to Afghanistan, our mates and stuff like that. We want to be out there with them.
It makes you jealous, really, when you see all these lads at a battalion that are going off to Afghanistan. They really feel like a proper grenadier, yeah.
The Guards are waiting to ambush Jeremy Quarry, who is leading a platoon of 32 grenadiers. He has just 2 weeks left in England before he heads to Afghanistan.
It's very different from what I've been doing in London, but you know, I'm lucky enough to have been on operations within the last 12 months. Confidence when you go out on the plane, get out there, will make you perform well. If you're not sure when you arrive, then things will get dangerous. Very nice to meet you. I hope you're pleased to see us here. Board an engine.
If you come to fix compensation?
Yeah, hopefully, we'll get it sorted. We're not afraid of the Taliban. We're gonna crack on and try and help with the development of the area.
Today's exercise is intended to be a straightforward patrol, but there are a few surprises in store for Jeremy's platoon. The mock Taliban fighters have surrounded the patrolling grenadiers and launch an attack.
2-1 and 2-3 Charlie, keep on moving your sections back towards the camp.
No sooner had we arrived on the objective that things started to happen. Everything blowing up within the building, and then there were contacts from a 360-degree enemy, so we needed to get out of the area. Some kind of coordinated withdrawal. British Army don't retreat, they withdraw. No! Okay, stand up.
Oh, no, sorry. No, I can't. Myself.
Right, a little bit of excitement. Yeah, I mean, I should think in theatre that's fairly common. There'll be lots of bangs and pops going off, all of which could be aimed at you. Therefore, you've got to be ready to stand to it any time. There'll be real bullets coming in a few days' time. So that's something to think about.
In just 13 days, Grenadiers will be on the ground in Afghanistan. The tension is mounting. It's D-Day for the British Grenadiers. In under 24 hours, 500 men will be on the ground in Afghanistan. Training is over, and ammunition, explosives, and medical supplies are ready to go. Last month, Lieutenant Jeremy Quarry was performing for tourists outside Buckingham Palace. Now, he is just a flight away from one of the world's most dangerous war zones.
The military stuff's pretty much done. I'm just trying to put together a bag of goodies. Cigars to keep me going. Drawing pencils. It sounds a bit weird, but it's quite fun to take some paper and some pencils and charcoal and stuff to do a bit of sketching while you're out there. I think when you join the army nowadays, you know that you're going to be involved in either Iraq or Afghanistan. And everyone of my sort of generation knows that. And you join up with the full intention of going out on operational tours. It's as close as you'll probably get nowadays to having some kind of adventure.
And with numbers so stretched in Afghanistan, 4 young guardsmen are about to get an unexpected chance to leave behind their bearskins and ceremonial duties and join that adventure.
Right, guys, you may be wondering why all four of you are appearing in front of me now. It doesn't take the brains of an archbishop. I am now formally telling you on memoranda that you will be going to Afghanistan. Guys, it's a tremendous honour to be going. Take what you've learnt in Nijmegen, be proud of it. Remember you've served in Nijmegen and the 2nd Battalion, but start to make a name for yourself when you get out to Afghanistan. Guys, good luck and Godspeed. Comes Major, thank you.
Guardsman, left turn! Quick march! No, jump!
I think you, in a way, on a certain level, emotionally detach yourself from looking into what you are potentially sending these guys in to do and situations that they could encounter. We send them, they go, they want to go.
From this moment in time to actually going out to Afghanistan, it's quite fast and it's come as a shock. But I'm glad that this happened.
We're all going out together, so it's what we wanted, really. We all wanted to go out, we all wanted to go out together, and it's going to happen, so we're all happy.
If you get on the what's it?
It's the end of an era for the Grenadiers. Regimental Adjutant Conway Seymour is stepping out in uniform for the very last time. After 46 years of service to his country, he's decided to finally hang up his boots.
I retire, I suppose, because I'm too old to be allowed to go on. It'll be a sad occasion.
Today, Conway's beloved band is giving him a final send-off. It's their first appearance this year in red tunics, and everything must be perfect for the regimental adjutant, who demands only the highest standards of personal turnout.
Fits like a straitjacket. No, what's happened here? You don't say that we've got the wrong belt, sir. Belt. Oh, God, I don't believe it. I mean, why has somebody gone into my locker and pinched the bloody thing?
Outside, the band wait patiently as a hunt is on to find Conway's missing belt.
Particularly irritating. Oh, we're off time. And I'm so angry about this. Stairs and spurs.
Finally, wearing a substitute belt, Conway emerges onto the parade square for the last time.
It is a great bargain, yeah, despite the fact it was composed by a Frenchman.
Conway Seymour is 4th generation Grenadier. His family has served the regiment since 1897. The world may have changed hugely in that time, but the traditions of the Grenadiers live on.
Standards! Nice! Thank you very much. It was a wonderful display. They looked fantastic. Thank you, sir.
The band has a surprise for Conway. They're going to play him out with Old Lang Syne.
I think I'm going to cry.
An emotional Conway leaves the stage. His time as a grenadier is over. As Conway bids farewell to the family of the Grenadier Guards, 50 miles away in Aldershot, girlfriends, wives and children have come together to say goodbye to the men who are leaving for Afghanistan.
When you're tired, or you're a little bit frightened, and you're not quite sure about what's going on because it's confusing, rise to the challenge, do what you've been taught in all your drills, keep it simple so it doesn't get confusing. If someone is out there and he's having a go at you, give him hell back. Ruthlessly pursue these people and prosecute their defeat and their destruction with the utmost efficiency, with every single weapon that you have. Give them no quarter, and then we're going to have a good tour.
Next time, the Grenadiers tackle the Taliban in Afghanistan, confront the realities of war. And in London, the troops train hard as they prepare to wish the Queen a happy birthday.